There is a study that found that people who work from home are at a high risk of having increased blood pressure, increased cholesterol, muscle weakness, like I mentioned, joint stiffness. All of that would be something to classify under musculoskeletal issues that can arise from working from home. What we're in today, we find that women tend to live longer than men. And I think the key thing in all of this is that men should take their health more seriously.
Now, at what age should men start getting screened for prostate cancer, and how often should this happen?
Smoking is one of the high risk factor for prostate cancer. Surprisingly,
Interesting.
alcohol consumption is a big problem.
Every 17 minutes past the hour is when the alarm rings, nudging me to get up, because I realized that if I sit on the hour. On today's episode, I have a very great guy we've known from our secondary school days. Again, yes, he is I used to know him as a sanguine, but I don't know what he is now. Probably this time that's changed his personality. I asked him before this call and he said he has changed. But having interacted with him just before we started recording, I see that he still has it in him. I'm sure he cracks his wife. Probably that's how he won his wife over. Okay, so Dafe, let us meet you. So tell us about yourself, what you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi guys, it's nice being on this platform. Before I make any remark, I think I must commend you first of all for this platform. You know, this is a very needed platform for men to get insight, to get informed, and also to get educated. So thank you very much for doing a fantastic job, for bringing your creativity to all of this. I must commend you for that. And thank you very much for having me. I know you definitely have a long list of guests, intended guests, but for you to have decided to have me on your platform, I'm really honored and pleased to be here. There's not so much to said about me. I'm still starting out life. So my name is Dafe. Like you said, we're classmates in high school, and then as life would have it, everybody would take different directions, and then we had been apart. I don't want to use the word apart, like but we hadn't spoken for a while, and then just getting to reunite and catch up with life. Been a fantastic journey. So we've been friends for decades, I would say, and then I moved on to advance in life, my career, and then also with other aspects of my life. I'm a medical doctor. I have a degree in medicine. I also have a postgraduate training in infectious disease and epidemiology. So you can just call me an infectious disease doctor. That's a simple way to introduce myself. I currently live in Canada. I am married. I have a beautiful wife and have a 2-month-old son. So that's a summary of who I am.
Amazing. Right. So some backstory. When I reached out to Dafe to ask him to be on the podcast, I think he was busy, right? So he told me soon, only for me to find out that his wife put to bed, and then he was telling me that now he feels like he fits in accurately, right, to be on the Diary of a Young Father. So amazing! Congratulations.
Absolutely. I passed that check. I became a father, so it's a lot better now that I can speak from the angle of a father, as opposed to how it would have been that I would have spoken as just a husband.
Amazing stuff, amazing stuff. So maybe in 1 minute, before we go into what we want to talk about,
Yeah,
what has been your experience these 2 months? Maybe you can just compress it. It's a lot, but you can compress it in
yeah,
1 minute.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful experience. I think everybody should experience father.
Mm,
And I know many people may not, of course we can't, it's a very sensitive topic. Some people would really want to, but they don't have the opportunity to because of certain conditions. But
yeah.
you have the privilege to be a father, I think it's a beautiful experience. For me, I've always looked forward to this. Uh, just a little bit back a year ago, we were actually expecting the baby and we lost the baby just after
Oh dear.
we got married. Yeah, so that I was getting there. The expectation was there, the preparation was there, and then all of that happened. But
Wow.
thankfully, just a year after, God came through, and we have a little man here. So
Wow.
that's
Congrats.
the angle that I'm coming from. To be a father, it's a privilege for me. It's been a beautiful experience. I know there are downtimes to all of this, where the baby can be, very demanding. Times sleep deprivation is there, but in all,
Yeah.
I think it's been a beautiful journey. Just knowing that we have an ambition to our home, I think it's a nice
Amazing.
experience to have. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Amazing.
And so
All
much
right. So,
you also need to share and let your audience know. I know you might have told them all along when all of this started, but what's at the moment? What's the experience like?
woo. Ah. Uh, um. Um. You know, backstory again. Before we started recording, we're talking about the fact that it can only be really experienced and not easily explained. But
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it's beautiful. Um, currently my daughter is teething, so she's going through a lot of pain, and we have to manage her, my wife and I. Unfortunately, I work remotely, so I experience the full bouquet. There's nothing missing. It's not like I go to work and then return. So while I'm in meetings, sometimes I'm even championing the meetings. My daughter is screaming somewhere, and I have to run away with my laptop to another location and all. But beyond that, it's just an amazing feeling to know that you have a little being who is evolving, who's growing. You know,
Mm,
Thanks. She just comes out of nowhere to hug me, or maybe I'm sitting. She comes from behind, puts her hand on my shoulders or my neck, and then it's just I can't explain it, right? I can't explain it, but it's such an amazing feeling, and
mhm.
also it comes with a lot of responsibility on your shoulders,
Yes, it
right?
does. Yes, it
You,
does.
you know that you're not just responsible for yourself anymore. You're responsible for your wife. You're responsible for that
Mhm.
little one. In
Yeah,
fact,
yeah.
there's every likelihood that you may begin to overlook your wife and focus more on your son or your daughter. And your wife will overlook you and focus more
Yeah.
on your son or your daughter. But the ability to intentionally cater for your wife and your child
Yeah.
is something that I found very rewarding. So I ensure
Mhm.
that I'm not taking her out of the loop while I'm
Yeah.
also catering to the little one. Interesting,
Mhm.
interesting. Actually, every man should experience this. I believe so
Yeah.
too. I
Yeah.
share that
Yeah.
share that thought with you. All right. So, well, enough of the fatherhood thing, right? So, yes, this is the diary of a young father. But today, we want to x-ray a topic, right? Actually, three subtopics, but this is going to be very, very free spirited, for lack of a better word, right? I have a
Mhm.
guide for what to walk through. And I chose to reach out to Dr. Dafe. Let me add the doctor now and put some respect on that name. Right? I just reached out to Dr. Dafe, right? When I I I started experiencing pains working from home. So anybody who works from home, you know that you work more, right? You work because you're not commuting, so you start early, you close late, and you want to just get things done so that nobody says, is it because you're working from home that you're not
Mm-hmm.
delivering? And then I realized that I started getting some pains. I went to do a checkup and all, and then all was well, and all is still well. But it got me thinking that many people are working from home now. So what what are the biggest risks, health risks, right, associated with
Mm-hmm.
working from, and how do they manifest physically? So I think we can start from there so that just
Okay.
help young people who are
Mm-hmm.
working from home. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. It's a very needed discussion, like you said. Just even looking at the fact that it was from your experience that all of this emanated from. Um,
Mm.
so working from home is a very uh, interesting discussion, especially in our age and time. I'm, I don't think this was something that was prevalent. Let's take it back to like 20 or 40 years ago. You know, I could actually
True.
even identify things that people could just do from working from home. But I noticed that it was after COVID, post-COVID era, that all of this, or even in the season of COVID, that all of this started. Most companies decided to put roles that you could, do from home. While
Yeah.
this is a very, very brilliant idea, it's very welcome. At first, everybody wants to be comfortable. You want to create a balance, with your job, with your life, and if you have a family, working from home would be a great opportunity to spend more time, with your loved one. There are risks. There are health, problems or disorders that can, spring out of all of, this new lifestyle that we have now. That's the norm, becoming the norm. You know,
Mm.
I'm going to look at it from the key things. There, of course, there's several things that we talk about, disadvantages of working from home. But let's not forget that the body is structured in such a way that the body has to be active.
Mm.
You have to liken your body to like a factory. Everything has to be moving. The bolts and the nuts, everything has to be moving for it to function efficiently. And that's how our body is. So when you work from home, you tend to deprive your body of experiencing this mobility maximally. What I mean is
Mm.
that you tend to sit more, and so because you're having that comfort and you're so busy with the work that you're doing, your heart is suffering. Your muscles, your joints, over time, they are on the receiving end of all of this. Sedentary
Mm.
lifestyle is what is being enhanced in all of this. So you sit for too long. Our body is made up of a very important organ, which is the heart, that helps to pump, to help with circulation. So people who work from home, who do this over time and have patterned themselves to a sedentary lifestyle, will are very, very at high risk of experiencing poor blood circulation, like I mentioned, because the heart helps to do all that. And when you're moving, you help your heart to function even better. The joints, your muscles, they can become inactive, over time. There is also increasing, increasing amount of weight gain seen among people who work from home. You see, because you tend to consume a lot at home. You're less mobile as you would if you were in an office space, an official office space. Getting to interact with people less, I would say. So the sedentary aspect of it would be for weight gain. There's cardiovascular issues with your poor blood circulation. There is the study
Mm.
that found that people who work from home are at a high risk of having increased blood pressure, increased cholesterol, muscle weakness, like I mentioned, joint stiffness. All of that would be something to classify under musculoskeletal issues that can arise from working from home. There is also the mental part of it. Whilst you're also, again, whilst you're comfortable working from home, you can be a little bit isolated, and we're social beings. Human beings are social beings. We're made in such a way that we are to interact with other people. I know there are team, meetings and all of that group stuff that you can do virtually, but I think if you weigh, doing that remotely and doing that in person, you're more efficient when you do that, when you interact with people, physically.
Yeah.
So I think some of the mental issues that can arise from working from home will be isolation. I know the research has also found that it's linked with working from home is linked a huge amount of anxiety and depression that is being seen now in our, recently. So I'll just hang on those two things, physical aspect and also the mental aspect of working from home. Yeah.
Spot on. So thank you for that exposition. So there is the physical side and then there is the mental side. Yeah. So now that we know some of the challenges that could or health risks associated with this, what are some physical habits? Because honestly, if you ask me directly, would you like to resume 5 in a physical office? My answer will be no, right? I don't think I want to go back. So how can remote workers cope with their current realities? So are there practical habits that remote workers can adopt to stay active and reduce health risks, especially the ones that you've listed now?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, the couple, I would just list a few out. In terms of, you were talking about musculoskeletal disorder that I talked about. The very clear example would be for that, in my opinion, would be lower back pain. Again, studies have found that people over time have developed lower back pain, neck pain too, because of just staring at the screen. Not in a bad way, I would say, because sometimes people don't have a good setup, and so that affects their neck. And then the sitting posture also can also be a big problem. So regular exercise, I would identify as the first thing, in my opinion, and also a guideline that is out there. Exercising at least 30 minutes a day can help. Now, you may not be able to do that altogether, but taking regular breaks, stretching at intervals whilst working can help, to get your body moving. I also think that sleep is a very good technique to help. When you sleep well, you can perform better during the day. So that creates a balance in such a way that even though you do so much work, when you get good sleep at night, that can help you more stretched out. Your body is more relaxed. It's better blood circulation when you're sleeping. That would be another key thing to talk about to help remote working. There's also this growing trend that people tend to overwork. You do that. You can also shed more light on it. They tend to take on more responsibility, and they're not able to properly manage how to space all of these tasks out because they're working from the comfort of their home. So take, for example, let's say an 8-hour work period, and a task is 10 tasks not completed. There's every tendency to want to work an extra hour, an extra 2 hours just to get that task. So overworking would be another thing that can be a challenge. And how do you get rid of that? Is to give yourself timelines to all of this. Once it's clock out or clock in time, you're done. So you're out of work for that period. So a little bit of being disciplined to know that this is working hours, this is personal hours would help a lot.
Yeah.
To be able to structure your day that this is work time. Once it's this particular time, I stop working and I move on to other things to do. So those are the three things I would say for now: regular exercise, getting good sleep, and also being able to structure your day. Uh, Portioning certain time, you know that this is time for work and then this is time for other stuff to do.
Excellent stuff. You see that sleep matter is
Yeah.
such a big deal. I know I saw a video recently where the I think it was a doctor was speaking and was saying that um people who take regular naps
Mhm.
are less susceptible to heart diseases. People who sleep properly, their bodies
Yeah.
can regulate before. So sleep is such a big deal that you don't even want to mess with that. Then that
Yeah.
exercise bit is also something that I know many people struggle with. Right, beginning of every year, January, February, all the gyms are bubbling. Once it's
Yeah.
March, everything begins to nosedive.
The
So
decline.
they actually make their monies December,
Mhm.
January, February. Then from March, people abandon their membership to these gyms. So is there a practical way one can exercise apart from maybe registering in the gym? Is there something that one could do that at the end of the day will count as exercise, especially a remote worker?
Yes, yes. There are lots of exercises that you can do. You don't necessarily. I think those times we really hype for exercises. Like you have to go to the gym,
Right?
you have to lift a certain amount of weight. You have to do all those rigorous, like you know, just even doing stretches, sit up,
Mm,
and just getting your body to be more flexible. I think
yeah.
that's the best. That's where to start. So if you work remotely, find time that you can do stretches.
Mm,
Some other things that can also help is going on walks. So let's say when you're done with your 9 to 5 or how you call it, you can take a walk.
yeah.
Just a
Mm,
30 minutes work will help you move your body. If you do that regularly on a daily basis, in a week, you do that 30 minutes,
mm.
like I said, every day, can go a long way in terms of exercise. Um, yeah, so just stretches, I would say, because again, you're limited because you're home, to do so much. I know people
Yeah.
have treadmills that they can put in their houses now, or even cycling
Yeah.
machines and all of that. They can be expensive, but if you can afford that, that can also be great. Having that at home can also be helpful for exercise. Yeah.
Fantastic. I want us to move to let's take advantage of the presence of a doctor in the house, right? And talk about men's reproductive health and some of the rising challenges. So
Yeah.
prostate cancer has become a common thing now in our
Mm.
generation and seem to be, well, I don't know the stats, but I think for in every 10 cancer cases I hear of
Mm-hmm.
for men, on the average, maybe around 5 to 6 relates to prostate cancer, right? So,
Mm.
why is prostate cancer becoming more prevalent? And what are
Mm.
key factors men should watch out for?
Okay. Yeah, like you mentioned, it's becoming a trend that's becoming worrisome. But I don't think there hasn't been this all along. Maybe you're just becoming more aware that this
Mm,
is a thing. You know, the back in the day, there are times where you hear that someone died of a particular illness or known illness, and all of this could just be linked, prostate cancer. It's
that's it.
becoming a big thing now because there's people are, putting spotlight on it. And then I'll also
That's
link it because we're talking much about working remotely. I'll also link that to it. Most men are becoming very inactive. They work from home. They are taking on some certain habits that are also helping to to advanced things like prostate cancer. So habits would be one of the things that will be a big thing. A good example would be smoking. I know smoking, when you speak to a doctor, there's always smoking connected to everything. But there's good
Right.
studies that smoking is one of the high risk factor for prostate cancer, surprisingly.
Interesting.
Yes, men who are also exposed to certain chemicals or carcinogens, this can also be a high risk factor for prostate cancer. Stress is a big thing. It's obvious, so it's not a hidden thing that men are quite as much stressed as women in terms of the amount of workload that they take on, physically. So stress would be a very good thing to identify that men are becoming more stressed now with their job. Like I mentioned, exposure to chemicals, to pollutants is also a great factor to this increasing rise of prostate cancer. Yeah.
I see. Stress and smoking, I wouldn't have thought. At what age should men, start getting screened for prostate cancer? And how often? Because, especially in our climes, Nigeria, I've noticed that most men, in fact, there was a conversation that ensued. Most men who have HMOs, right? They have health insurance.
Yeah.
Hardly make use of the health insurance. So maybe they feel some type of way, joint pain and all. They just say that's malaria, and then they take anti-malaria drug. They have a cold, they go take maybe a cough syrup or something, and then most men even believe in going for checkups and all. So at what age? Because this has become as you said, it has always existed, but now it's getting into the spotlight because so many people are talking about. Now, at what age should men start getting screened for prostate cancer, and how often should this happen?
Okay. Yeah. So this screening, it's so I'm in Canada. I'm going to talk more on how the screening in Nigeria. I know you have a very wide audience, so they may be all over the world. Most countries will have a different screening protocol for prostate cancer. In Canada, where I live, the age is at 40 to 45. That's when every ideally should get screened. However, if the symptoms appear earlier when you speak to your doctor, that screening can also come up early to be done. But just for a healthy, regular man, 40 to 45 would be the age for the screening. Now, the screening is done, it's a PSA, it's called PSA test or screening. Prostate-specific antigen is what they are on the lookout for. It has a range of values. So when they do the test, there is a certain amount, the outcome, the certain number that will tell when you should be screened. So there are people that would be screened. Ideally, if you have the symptoms already, you have a history of prostate cancer in your family and all of that, they would do that screening every 2 years, I think, every 2 years. But if you are healthy, it would be every 5 years. That's how it is done. Yeah. So it depends on if the symptoms are there, and also if you have a history of it. That would indicate that you have screening quite often, quite frequently. But as a healthy man, I think every 2 to 5 years would be the screening. Now, you really don't get to say I want this to be done every year. The doctor would again, with the outcome of the result, would be able to advise on how often the screening should be done. So 40 years, 45 would be the perfect time for screening.
I see. All right. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. So speaking of dieting, I know we talked about it earlier. So
Okay.
let's now x-ray that just a bit. So what are
Okay.
the dietary mistakes that people make that can negatively impact their health in the
Mhm.
long run
Mhm.
or the long
Mhm.
term?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll speak again because we're talking about men. I would like to narrow down, the example. Let's be very, very practical. We know that most men consume a lot of alcohol. That
Yeah.
that's, that's a good way to start. I know that doesn't sound like dieting, but I mean we're consuming, we're having it's a drink, we're having that. So alcohol consumption is a big problem. It's a big
Mm,
problem um, for men. If you're able to manage that, if you're able to uh, have a balance with that, be able to properly consume alcohol, it goes a long way to help in your diet. The regular, knowledge out there that you have 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it's also perfect. The dinner meal that is balanced, has balanced diet, having balanced diet rather, having lots of water. So I'm saying alcohol because sometimes when you take lots of drinks, that tends to replace your water intake. When you cut down
mm,
on most consumption of soft drinks and wine and all of that and alcohol, you give more room for water consumption. So
mm,
men need to consume more water, reduce their alcohol consumption, eat more healthy, eat vegetables, take a lot of food rich in protein,
mm,
reduce the carbohydrates, you know, to a great extent. Because, as men, when we get older, when you are getting up there, mid-30s, 40s, there's this accumulation of abdominal fat, so you begin to add a lot of weight, and
yeah.
that goes back to where exercise where exercise comes in, being able to make a balance with your eating habits, exercising, um, having adequate amount of water, reduce alcohol consumption, and so on and so forth. That will help in terms of dieting. Yeah. There's also the fact that some people, when we talk about dieting, we always look at how people consume a lot, eat excess amount of this and that. There's also the need to talk about how people don't eat adequately. Some people skip meals because
Mm,
of how busy they are with their job. So
yeah.
they tend to eat more of fast food, or food high in carbohydrate and all of that. So adequate, proper balance of your meals. Ensure that you're not eating less, you're eating as much as you should. It's also very important.
Mm,
Not just talking about eating excessively, but also those people who have found themselves to not eat properly. That can
yeah.
also be a very negative effect on our health in terms of diet. For men, especially. Yeah, for men.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing, amazing stuff. As you were talking, I just remembered some, I think I told you earlier, something, and this is going back to the subject of sedentary lifestyle, how that
Yeah.
I had to set alarms for every hour to move around. So for someone listening, that's something that you may also want to employ. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
set it at a time to ensure it doesn't coincide with important things. So it's never on the hour. So I think every 17 minutes past the hour is when the alarm rings, nudging me to get up, because I realized that if I set it on the hour, there's every likelihood that a meeting is starting on the hour or a meeting is ending on the hour and I won't be able to get up. But
Mm-hmm.
that 17 minutes, I've probably started the meeting and gone 17 minutes in, then I can actually take the walk
Mm-hmm.
while that taking that call. So awesome
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So I think we're coming
Yeah.
to the end of this.
Yeah, but I also wanted to add this,
Yes,
to
please.
stress more point on how diet is so important. So studies have also found that poor diet is also linked to infertility in men. You know, yes. So when you don't have when you have a diet that is lacking essential nutrients and antioxidants, that can also lead to sperm DNA damage. Studies have found that too, which also eventually will reduce sperm quality. So men need to take their diet as serious as they can, because that also is an essential part for fertility. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic revelation. Ah, interesting. Thank you for that. So to wrap this all up, right? What are simple yet effective daily habits? So now we're going granular, right? Daily habits that can significantly improve overall health for men
Yeah.
specifically.
For men
And
specifically.
yes, and one other, if I'm going to add these two together,
Okay.
is if someone wanted to make just some changes, right? What are those changes that they could make in their lifestyle right now? You've touched on some of them. Consumption of alcohol, just cut down on it. For me, this year, I remember that it was part of my goals to cut down drastically on sugar intake. It's not like I take so much sugar, but I wanted to just reduce it to the barest minimum.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
first, for the first month, January, I think I failed because of all the razzmatazz and celebration. I actually consumed a lot of soda. But generally, what are the
Yeah.
simple,
Yeah.
effective daily habits that one can? Now, this is beyond even remote workers and all. Men generally that will make them or make us whole and sound and actually live long. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for adding that, talking about sugar consumption, because that's also linked to, again, there's an increasing level of diabetes out there. Type 2 diabetes also linked to sugar consumption, alcohol as well. So men also need to be careful and cut down considerably their sugar consumption. So back to your question, it's basic, it's simple. We know these things. It's funny enough that we all know this, but this,
Yeah.
abiding by all of this, that is the challenge. Sleep helps a lot. Men should learn to sleep. Learn so they not listen, but you have to get adequate sleep. It's good for your brain. It's good for your body physically to be more efficient. Overall, to be a healthy man, you need to have good sleep. Water consumption. Yeah, water is also a big thing that men should be very particular about. Drinking water and reduce alcohol consumption. Exercise. In this part of the world, there's also a big challenge with exercise. You find people are overweight to already on the big side. So exercise would be something that would every man should have as one of the things that they do on a weekly basis. Being able to leave everything and then exercise frequently. I think I'm missing out on something, but when I remember that, there's something I also wanted to mention about, especially for men that they need to consider. So stress management would help a great deal. To be a healthy man, to be more efficient, and to live a better life overall. Yeah.
Amazing. As you were speaking, I just remembered a principle that
Okay.
actually. Say what?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yes, a principle for this, especially this stress matter, and also the discipline matter, right? I'm sure I'm going to talk about it in one of my solo videos, but I just want to bring that in here because people get stressed because they are either doing the right thing at the wrong time or doing the wrong thing at the right time or doing the right thing at the wrong right? So I learned of a quadrant, right? A quadrant that has is it important? Is it urgent? Is it important? Urgent? Is it not urgent, important, not important, not urgent, right? So
Okay, that's
so
interesting.
that's yes, that quadrant helps you. The entire quadrant set of quadrants help you put different tasks in different buckets. So if it's important and it's urgent, attend to those first, right? If it's important and not urgent, you can
Mhm.
hold on to it. If it's urgent but not important, you can delegate. And if it's not important, not urgent, you throw it away. So you find most people, their priorities are,
Yeah,
are messed
yeah.
up. So they are working
Mhm.
on what is not important and what is not urgent. And because they have spent some time doing that, they don't now have enough time to do what is important and what is urgent.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
increases stress levels. They don't meet deadlines, and then they're running helter skelter, and then
Mhm.
it just
Mhm.
messes up everything. So
Yeah.
awesome,
Oh
awesome,
yes, oh
awesome,
yes.
awesome.
Stress is a big thing, and I like that what you just explained now about how to prioritize. We
Yeah,
also know that men have it's a big challenge for men to prioritize most time because we want to take on so many things. We feel we can do all at
true.
once. We feel we
Yeah,
can. We take up so many responsibilities that at the end of the day we don't even execute most of them excellently. So if you're able to
sadly,
prioritize and say this goes first, and this, I'm also in that learning phase of my life now too, because now that I
yeah,
have a child, I'm also learning to prioritize, knowing what should be first and what can, be on the backside for now. If we can do that and work at it very well, we'll be able to have a balanced life, as a man, be able to some of all these things when you apportion time to this, to your sleep, and also to your meals and all of that, and exercise, there'll be balance. You'll be well rounded. You have a good life at the end of the day. Yeah.
fantastic, fantastic. Dr. Dafe, thank you so much. I think you're the second Dafe coming on this on this podcast.
Really? Okay. I think I should listen to the other.
Yeah, so the other one is creativity expert, right? So thank you
Okay.
so much for your time. I know people pay a lot to hear these things. The truth is that I think most of us know these things, but we just need to be reminded
Yeah.
every now and
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've seen that when we are reminded, especially when we are in dire situations, so maybe someone is already feeling some weird pains and all, you
Yeah.
then
That's
take it
when.
seriously. Yes, yes, yes. So that's the
Absolutely.
intent.
Absolutely.
Yes, the intent of this episode. And thank you so much, Dr. Daffy, for your time. I am super duper grateful, and I'm sure our audience they are also very, very grateful. Thank you,
It's
thank you,
it's a
thank
great honor and pleasure for me to be on your platform. Thank you so much for having me. And I'd like to leave with this final word. There is, um, what we're in today, we find that women tend to live longer than men.
you.
And
True.
I think the key thing in all of this is that men should take their health more seriously. Men should take their
Mm,
health more seriously. Um, with that being said, they'll be able to accomplish a whole lot. Nobody wants to have lose their dad at that very, very young age. And so men should
true.
have this consciousness that society, the family wants them to live longer. And if we have that consciousness that we're needed, we'll pay more
Mm,
attention to prolonging our days on earth. I would say that, and not just living for yourself, but knowing that you owe a couple of people the responsibility to be healthy. I don't know
true.
if that's a message to pass across to our men.
It's a very
Yes.
perfect message. Very perfect message. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Dafe. And hopefully we'll have you again on the podcast very soon. Very
Thank you
soon.
very much.
He's a
So
busy
nice
man,
to
so
speak to you.
thank you.